Parshas Chayei. This week's Parsha begins with the description of the passing of Sarah Imenu and Avraham Avinu's efforts to bury her in the Ma'aras HaMachpelah in Hebron, in the double cave that's located in Hebron. And there's a negotiation that takes place. He wants to acquire a burial plot, but the negotiation is strange. And it's strange because Avraham says, I'll pay you a full price. And the owners, and we're going to get into the specifics, say, no, I want to give it to you for free. And Avraham insists. What's going on here? So, and we have a word problem as well, which we'll get to. This, we're talking about Perek Chav Gimel, Psukim Yud Aleph through Yud Gimel. That's 23, chapter 23, verses 11 through 13. So Avraham says, I'll pay you. And then Ephron steps up to the plate. Ephron is apparently a leader there, and he says, Lo Adoni, no, my lord. Shma'ini, listen to me. Hasadeh nosati lach, I've given you the field. V'hamora asher bo l'chonasatiyah, and the cave that's in it, I've given to you. Leinei b'nei amina satiyah lach kvor mesecha, in public, in front of, in the eyes of all of my people, I've given it to you. Bury your dead. Avraham expresses his appreciation. This is in the next verse, that should be 12. Vayishtachu Avraham lifnei ha'aretz, and Avraham bowed in acknowledgement before the people of the land. And then the next verse, Yud Gimel, is both conceptually and linguistically problematic. Vaydaber el Ephron bo'oznei ha'am ha'aretz lemor. So he spoke to Ephron in the hearing, in the earshot of the rest of the people, saying, Ach imata lushma eni, if you would only listen to me. Nosati kesef hasodeh kach mimeni vek baraz mesi shama. I've given you the money for the field. Take it from me, and I will bury my dead there. So first of all, how can you say, I've given it to you, take it from me? If I've given it to you, you've taken it from me. What does it mean, I've given it to you, if he hasn't taken it yet? Secondly, he hasn't given him any money yet. So what does this verse even mean? So there's a number of approaches to this among the commentaries. There's the approach of the Rabbeinu Miyuchas and others, is quoted in the Sefer Shari Ephraim, which says that this is actually the word nasati lach, although it's phrased, its structure is classically past tense, but sometimes there is a linguistic device in Tanakh where the past is used for the future. One might say, we're gone. We're gone. But we're gone doesn't mean we're gone. We're gone means we're here, but we're getting out of here. But it's used in a different way. Or in Hebrew, people say zaznu. We've moved. They haven't yet. It's the directive to move, but it's expressed in past tense. That's one way to view this, and this is echoed by the Rabbeinu Nissim, the Ran, who also says, he uses this phrase as an example of how, in other places, how one can use past tense to relate to future events. Now, Rashi actually takes a somewhat different approach. He acknowledges that Avraham hasn't yet paid Ephron, but he suggests that nasati means I have it segregated. I've already put it aside, and I want to give it to you. Halavai nasati l'chakvar. I wish I'd given it to you. And that at least reconciles the inherent linguistic issue of nasati kach mimeni. I've given it to you, take it from me. The first explanation also, all of these explanations reconcile that, but what this is saying is, indeed, there has been some thing that's been done with that money, which it's been segregated, although they haven't agreed on a price yet. So, how much did he set aside? And it's not until later that they agree on 400 shekel kesef. So how that plays out, how that jives with I have segregated the money, it's a worthy of inquiry, but it's not a what they would say a bomb kasha. It doesn't blow Rashi out of the water. It just needs further explanation. Now, the MeOrleans He has a different approach, and this is the concept is reflected in the Chizkuni, who takes it a slightly different way as well. But the MeOrleans says that Nasati Kesav Asodeh, he's saying Bitmiya, he's saying, have I paid you yet? I haven't paid you for the field yet. V'chi Nasati l'cha Kesav Asodeh, ad shata omer li asodeh nasati. Have I paid you? You're telling me you've given me the land and I haven't even paid you yet. Nasati l'cha, I haven't given you any money. And then the Chizkuni actually says that the word nasati, I have given, is actually not describing the money at all. He's not saying nasati kesav asada, I've given the payment for the field, but rather he's echoing Ephron's description of what he's done. Ephron says, I've given you the land. He says, hasada nasati lach, the field I have given you. And Avraham as much saying, nasati, you've given it to me, I haven't even paid for it yet. So how can you do that? Both according to the MeOrleans and also the Chizkuni, both of them view nasati as a question, as a rhetorical question. What do you mean you've given it to me? What do you mean, nasati? So according to the Chizkuni, what he's saying is, you say you've given it to me, but I haven't paid for it yet. He says, kach mimeni, kesef asada kach mimeni. And the Chayei Aaron observes that this actually is consistent with the cantillation, with the trup that's marked here, because the trup over nasati is a kesar, so it's not a misharis. So it's nasati kesef asada kach mimeni. Nasati comes with a bit of a pause, and then kesef asada kach mimeni. You've given it to me. Please take the money. Now, why is Avraham Avinu insistent on paying for this land? So we talked about this to a greater extent in years past, but I'd like to mention here it's relevant to current events, as all of these Parshas have been remarkably. And the Medrash says that there are three places that the Umos Olam, nations of the world, cannot credibly assert that the Jews have stolen. One of them is Hebron, the other is Shem, and the other is Makom HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. Because in Tanakh it's recorded that a representative of Am Yisrael purchased those places with money. It's ironic because those are three places that are hotly contested right now. But on the basis of that Chazal, we should have the confidence of our of the justness of our position. My Rabbi Rav Soloveitchik explains that there's a difference between mere legal title and psychological title. It says psychological title is something that comes about as a result of investing in something. If you get it as a present, easy come, easy go. If you have to use hard-earned money to buy something, we tend to treat that as more precious. The Gemara in Bava Tzia, Mishnah in Bava Tzia, talks about how if a farmer gives a bunch of fruits to somebody on his behalf to watch for him for safekeeping, and they begin to rot, the question is, should the shomer, the Beili, sell them and then give the person who gave him the Beilor, gave him the fruits, give him the money, or should he just let them go? And there's a machlokas, and according to one opinion, he should let them go. Why? Not because we want to treat them badly, but because the farmer whose fruits, who grew these fruits, those fruits are precious to him. They're more precious to him than a substitute, than the money or than fruits that money can buy. And that's because he worked for them, Rashi explains. And investment can take many forms. It can take the form of money. It can take the form of toil. It can take the form of devotion. There's all kinds of investments. But at the end of the day, what Avraham Avinu wanted was for the Bnei Yisrael, for the children of Israel, to feel in their bones, if you will, that this is ours. Hebron is ours. So much so, we didn't just conquer it, but Avraham bought it even before the notion of conquering Eretz Yisrael was even on the table. And it is ours. And we are at a point now in our history where our right and title to Eretz Yisrael is being challenged. And we are encouraged by the Parshas that we read starting from the very beginning of Bereshis Bar Elokim, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and where Rashi famously observes that the reason for this description of God's creation of the heavens and the earth is to establish his dominion and his authority over the land, and that he can give the land to whoever he wants, and he can take it from them, and he can give it to whoever he wants, and he gave it to us. This is our land, and we celebrated, unfortunately, the tens of thousands who usually go to Hebron on Shabbat. Parshat Chayei will not be there this year because of the turmoil and the war, but Amir Hashem, they and we, all of us and our descendants, will have many opportunities to be there, to visit there, and to live there. Shabbat Shalom. Have a good chance.